On March 23, 2025, a catastrophic event unfolded along the U.S. West Coast, one that would forever change the lives of millions. A massive earthquake, with a magnitude of 9.1, struck off the coast of Northern California, sending shockwaves through the Pacific Ocean. But the true horror came minutes later when the earthquake triggered a massive tsunami, racing toward the coast with terrifying speed. The tsunami was born from one of the most powerful seismic events in recent history. The tremors were felt as far away as Seattle and Los Angeles, but the most intense impact was in the areas closest to the epicenter. The coastline of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington was the first to bear the brunt of nature's fury. The earthquake's sudden shock left buildings shaking and roads cracking, but it was the wall of water that followed, surging ashore, that caused widespread devastation. Survivors described the moment the tsunami struck as a scene of pure chaos. In Crescent City, California, one of the first cities to be impacted, the ocean began to recede, a phenomenon that often signals an incoming tsunami. For those who had not yet received the tsunami warning, the retreating waters seemed like a strange curiosity. However, experienced locals and those who had seen tsunami drills immediately recognized the signs. The National Weather Service had issued tsunami warnings, but many people were not prepared for the magnitude of what was about to hit. Within minutes, the ocean began to roar, rising higher and higher as a towering wall of water surged toward the shore. In a matter of seconds, the coast was swallowed by the wave. The tsunami struck with such force that it obliterated entire communities, tearing apart buildings, homes, and infrastructure. The waterfront areas of Crescent City and nearby towns were reduced to rubble as the water crashed through everything in its path. On the beach in Crescent City, tourists and residents scrambled to higher ground as the tsunami approached. Among them was Jennifer Collins, a mother of two visiting the coast from Oregon. "I saw the water pulling back, and I knew what it meant," Jennifer recalled. "I grabbed my kids, and we ran as fast as we could to the nearby hills. But I could hear the roar of the water behind us, and it felt like time was running out." In just minutes, the tsunami reached the shoreline, smashing everything in its path. Cars, boats, and debris were carried by the waves, creating a deadly obstacle course for those still trying to escape. Jennifer and her children made it to a safe vantage point, but many weren't so lucky. Thousands of people along the coast were trapped, swept away by the powerful waves, or left stranded in flooded areas. Authorities had issued evacuation warnings hours before the earthquake, but with so many people caught unaware, the response efforts were strained. Local emergency services, including the Coast Guard, fire departments, and search and rescue teams, immediately began their efforts to save lives. National Guard units from nearby states were deployed to assist in recovery operations. As the tsunami waves receded and the floodwaters began to subside, the full extent of the damage became clear. Hundreds of homes were destroyed, entire communities were submerged, and roads were rendered impassable. The state of California declared a state of emergency, and FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, responded swiftly, deploying resources to assist with the relief efforts. The destruction was not limited to Crescent City. In Oregon, towns like Newport and Depew Bay faced similar devastation, with the tsunami wave flooding their harbors, destroying homes, and killing dozens of residents. Even Seattle, located farther north, felt the aftereffects, as waves surged across the Puget Sound, causing significant flooding and damage to waterfront properties. Despite the horror, there were countless stories of survival, heroism, and community solidarity. Local residents, emergency responders, and visitors alike worked together to help rescue those trapped in the wreckage. Shelters were quickly set up for displaced families, and local businesses donated food, water, and clothing to survivors. In the aftermath of the disaster, survivors came together to mourn their losses but also to rebuild their communities. Jennifer Collins, who had narrowly escaped the waves with her children, returned to Oregon, where she became a vocal advocate for better tsunami preparedness. "I'll never forget what happened, but I also know that we can learn from it," she said. "We need to be more prepared and ensure that communities along the coast know what to do when a tsunami strikes." The tsunami of 2025 was a sobering reminder of the power of nature and the vulnerability of coastal communities. In the wake of the disaster, officials called for a nationwide re-evaluation of tsunami warning systems, evacuation plans, and the construction of stronger, more resilient infrastructure. Though it was too late for many lives lost in the waves, the lessons learned from the tragedy spurred an era of heightened awareness and preparedness. Towns like Crescent City and Newport began to rebuild with new resilience, learning from the past while forging a stronger future. Over time, the scars of the disaster faded, but the memory of the tsunami would never be forgotten. It became a part of the shared history of the U.S. West Coast, a reminder of both the fragility of life and the strength of human perseverance in the face of nature's wrath. If you want to learn more about history's pivotal moments, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content on the events that shaped the world we live in today.